Yes, but they're my own original creation because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
And she lived happily ever after?
Well, she couldn't indulge in strenuous activities like handball.
Rachel Ziegler is losing it after months of trying to defend Disney's Snow White remake, and it's getting messy fast. The internet didn't just turn the movie into a joke. Entire animation studios are ripping it apart frame by frame. According to insiders, Rachel is so wrecked by the backlash, she's even thinking about getting therapy. And it's not just trolls online. Animated TV shows, meme pages, even full-on production companies are lining up to take shots at the movie, like it's some kind of public roast. Disney tried to shake things up, casting a modern Snow White with a fresh, progressive message. But instead of applause, boom, they got dragged through the mud. The remake crashed at the box office, reportedly losing hundreds of millions of dollars, and cartoon studios wasted zero time clowning on it. Let's kick things off with Family Guy, because you know they don't ever hold back. They fired the first animated bullet even before the Snow White drama fully exploded. In a now viral clip, a frozen Walt Disney gets thawed out in a hospital. The doctor leans over and says, "Welcome back, Mr. Disney," and Walt immediately asks, "Are they still making Disney remakes?" The shade is unreal, and there's so much more coming up. Don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the wildest Hollywood drama breakdowns. Fire. The doctor just nods and coldly says, "Put me back in." One savage line, total annihilation. Family Guy was already roasting Disney's reboot obsession before Rachel Ziegler even stepped onto the Snow White set. But then came the second jab, way sharper and twice as brutal. Peter Griffin strolls through Disneyland, and in the background, a roller coaster plummets like a dead bird. Written right under the track? Disney stock. It's quick, it's subtle, but it hits like a truck. The whole world could see it. Disney's value wasn't just dropping, it was crashing fast along with its battered brand. Then, the third roast landed, and this one shook the room. Peter's chilling, watching TV, sees a gorgeous girl and blurts out, "Wow, that girl's hot." His buddy fires back, "That's a boy." It happens again, and again, until Peter finally screams, "What is everything?" Total meltdown. But it wasn't just a joke. It was a full-blown takedown of Hollywood's chaotic obsession with identity confusion and force-fed representation. Family Guy didn't need to name Rachel. The message was so loud, you could hear it echoing down Sunset Boulevard. Fans are tired of the nonsense, and the cracks are showing everywhere. And Family Guy? They were just throwing the first punches. What South Park dropped next wasn't a roast. It was a full-scale animated nuke. Nobody got spared, from Kathleen Kennedy to Snow White to Disney's entire boardroom. Everybody got scorched. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Disney can ever bounce back from this chaos? Fire. If Family Guy swung first, then South Park straight up dropped the nuke with their now infamous special, Joining the Panderverse. South Park didn't just roast Disney's new era, they tore it to shreds. And right at the center of the firestorm, Snow White, getting blasted like never before. The episode unleashed a savage version of Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm and one of the masterminds behind Disney's new direction. Kennedy clutches a wild, magical artifact called the Pander Stone, using it to shove diverse, rewritten characters into every single franchise. The satire wasn't just sharp, it was brutal. Every beloved movie and classic series gets rebooted the same exact way. Put a chick in it and make her gay. 8 words, just 8. And they torched Disney's entire live-action playbook. And yeah, sure, South Park went off on Star Wars, But Snow White? She was caught dead center in the blast, especially with Rachel Zegler already becoming the poster child for how sideways Disney's remakes had gone. Even conservative heavyweights jumped into the fire. Ben Shapiro reacted fast, calling the episode one of the most honest things South Park has ever done when it comes to exposing Hollywood's mess. Smash that like button, slap that subscribe, and sound off in the comments. Is this the end of Disney's reign, or can they pull off a miracle? Fire. And then boom, the Daily Wire jumped into the chaos. After watching Disney's Snow White crash and burn, Daily Wire Studios didn't waste a second. They announced their own Snow White remake. One without the propaganda, no weird rewrites, and totally faithful to the original fairy tale. No gender swaps, no random political speeches, just good old-fashioned classic Snow White. The announcement blew up online. It went viral overnight. But just when it looked like they were onto something huge, drama struck. Brett Cooper, the actress set to play Snow White, suddenly quietly dipped out of the project. No big statement, no drama post, no nothing, just gone. Now the movie's stuck in limbo, and fans are left hanging. Still, even with all the behind-the-scenes mess, the teaser trailer alone racked up millions of views. And the audience made it loud and clear. People are starving for entertainment that's not preaching at them every 5 seconds. And while all that madness was unfolding, the biggest roast yet didn't come from a TV network, it came from YouTube. The Beanie Bros, a legendary animation duo, dropped a savage 60-second parody of Disney's Snow White that exploded past 9 million views. And the best part? They did it exactly how Rachel Zegler said she wanted. Gritty, modern, no prince, no romance, just a cynical girl boss on a mission. The video kicks off with Snow White trash-talking the dwarves, clowning the original fairy tale, and demanding a full rewrite of her destiny. It's fast, it's brutal, and it's absolutely hilarious. Smash that like, drop a comment, and hit subscribe, because the takedown of modern Disney is just heating up. Fire. Ironically, Beanie Bros gave Rachel Zegler the exact movie she kept saying she wanted, and still made it look like a total joke. That's when the comment section went wild. Fans started dropping lines like, "This isn't even a parody. This is exactly what Disney's making." And that's what made it even more savage. So far, Snow White's taken hits from Family Guy, South Park, Daily Wire, and now viral YouTube animators. But one cartoon giant is still holding back, and when they strike, it could be the final knockout. Because if The Simpsons step in, it's over for Disney. At this point, Disney's been catching cartoon L's from every direction. Family Guy, South Park, viral YouTubers, even political commentators tossing grenades. But one major player has stayed eerily silent. The Simpsons. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous, because unlike the others, The Simpsons are owned by Disney themselves. So when they roast something, they're technically clowning their own boss. And here's the crazy part, they're already warming up. In the last few seasons, The Simpsons have been sneaking in shady shots at Marvel burnout, corporate reboot fatigue, even Star Wars disasters. If you look close, you'll spot it. They've been testing how far they can push it without getting their leash yanked by the mouse. Now, with Snow White turning into a worldwide meme, the internet is buzzing. Will The Simpsons finally roast Disney's woke era head-on? If they do, it's not going to be loud or obvious. It'll be surgical, a sly, brutal jab tucked inside a couch gag or a blink-and-you-miss-it flashback. But when it hits, it'll hit like a brick, because if even Disney's own satire machine flips the script, that's the clearest sign Hollywood's audience is completely done, and the pressure is reaching a breaking point. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, if The Simpsons turn on Disney, would that be the final nail in the coffin? fire. And just when you think Disney's problems couldn't get any worse, here comes another storm from inside their own kingdom. Reports are now swirling that even Pixar employees are starting to grumble behind the scenes. Yep, insiders are leaking that morale inside Disney's animation studios is crumbling. Some animators are whispering that they're tired of being told to focus on messages instead of just making great stories. One artist allegedly said, "We used to inspire kids. Now we're just trying to win Twitter arguments." Ouch! Meanwhile, Disney's top brass is panicking over their next big releases because they know if one more movie bombs at the box office, investors are going to start bailing hard. And trust me, Hollywood sharks are already circling, just waiting to tear pieces off what's left. And it gets even crazier. Fans have started digging up old interviews where Disney execs bragged about changing the culture instead of focusing on entertainment. Now those clips are going viral all over TikTok, YouTube, and X, with millions of people roasting Disney for losing touch with what audiences actually want. It's turning into a full-blown rebellion. Fans are demanding real heroes, real romance, real adventure, not lectures. And if Disney doesn't wake up fast, the collapse could be way bigger than just Snow White. Hit that like, smash subscribe, and sound off in the comments. Is Disney already too far gone? Or can they pull off a comeback? Stay tuned, because the meltdown is just getting started. Fire. Behind the scenes, Disney is reportedly freaking out over its next big gamble, the live-action Tangled remake. Early leaks are already sounding alarms. This thing could cost up to a mind-blowing $500 million. That would be a wild move even if Snow White hadn't just burned over $200 million straight into the ground. Now imagine walking into that pitch meeting while Rachel Zegler's name is still rumored to play Rapunzel. Yep, the face of Disney's last epic disaster might be stepping right back into the fire. Disney executives know what's at stake. One wrong casting call, one cringy interview, and the internet will unleash a roast before the first trailer even drops. It's a ticking time bomb just waiting to blow. But this meltdown goes way deeper than just one movie. According to multiple reports, Disney has racked up close to $900 million in pure losses from its so-called woke flops over the last few years. And Wall Street isn't blaming the economy, they're blaming Disney's creative direction. Even big names are calling it out loud and clear. Megyn Kelly ripped into them, saying Disney's biggest problem isn't politics, it's pure arrogance. Thinking audiences will show up no matter what. Thinking they can swap real stories for empty statements and still strike box office gold. And she's not alone. Charlie Kirk also lit them up, blasting Disney for playing with the trust of families and warning that the studio is becoming totally unrecognizable to the generation that once loved it. Smash that like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment. Is Tangled the next disaster waiting to happen, or could it save Disney's sinking ship? Stay tuned, it's about to get even messier. Fire. And the numbers? They don't lie, they scream. Snow White pulled in just $184 million on a bloated budget of $240 to $270 million. A brutal disaster no matter how you spin it. And now, every single upcoming project, Tangled, Lilo and Stitch, even Hercules, is getting put under the microscope like never before. So here we are. One failed remake, 4 cartoon studios roasting it, millions lost, and the biggest satirical powerhouse in TV history, The Simpsons, still waiting in the wings, sharpening their knives. The only real question now is, will Disney finally course correct, or double down even harder? Because when Family Guy clowns you, sure, it's funny. When South Park nukes you, it hurts. When the Beanie Bros drop a 60-second YouTube short that hits harder than your $250 million movie, That's a wake-up call screaming at full volume. But when all of them do it in the same year, that's not just comedy anymore. That's a straight-up cultural warning shot. And the crazy part? Disney still doesn't seem to get it. Snow White didn't flop because people hate women, or diversity, or new ideas. It flopped because it didn't feel like a story anymore. It felt like a boring press release wrapped in a dusty fairy tale costume. Audiences aren't rejecting change. They're rejecting preachy storytelling that shoves a message in your face and forgets to bring the magic. Now the same studio that once defined childhood is getting roasted non-stop, from network TV to TikTok to YouTube. And it's getting so bad that even hardcore Disney fans are slowly backing away. This isn't a one-off backlash, it's a pattern. And unless Disney makes some serious moves fast, that noise is only going to get louder and louder. Fans aren't mad because Snow White evolved. They're mad because the heart of the story got ripped out and replaced. So what do you think? Are these cartoon roasts unfair, cheap shots? Or are they just saying what everybody else is too scared to say out loud? Is there still a chance for Disney to save itself? Or are they already too deep into the woke era to crawl back out? Drop a comment below, smash that like button, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Because if you thought this breakdown was wild, just wait until you see what's coming next. No princesses, no fairy tales, just chaos. See you there. Fire.